guys, my name is the CHALL, your Doncaster Rovers fan for the latest football content, and welcome to today's edition of the DRFC Daily Reports, bringing the latest news and rumours from DRFC. Now, today's episode, of course, like after every other match day, it is looking at the other results in the Premier League, in the Championship, League 1, League 2, and of course showing you Darren Moore's press reaction to the result that we've had. And we're also going to be talking a little bit about John Taylor's injury, whether it's a big knock or not, but of course we'll know more in the next 24 hours about that, why Richards was left out, and also, of course, a little update on Tulloch and John Jules. So before you get started, guys, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell so you never miss another video. We do have some more videos coming. We actually do have an update coming this afternoon, and it's the first episode of NBA Off the Rim, so I thought I'd get back into the basketball content a bit more as well. And we've got a few news stories to share with you on that series. That'll be a brand new weekly series, talk about the latest stories throughout the week from the NBA. We are going to be doing some more BBL videos, some more British Basketball League videos as well, because of course that league will hopefully be starting very, very soon. So stay tuned for more of that content. If you want to see some more sports on this channel, so if you want to see some stuff from rugby, the NFL, the NHL, the hockey, ice hockey, sorry, then we can cover all of that and bring in some more new audiences into this channel. But for now, guys, thank you very, very much for watching this video, and let's get straight into it and start off with the results from the Premier League and then look at how the table looks before today's games. West Ham United 1, Manchester City 1. Fulham 1, Crystal Palace 2. Manchester United 0, Chelsea 0. And Liverpool 2, Sheffield United 1. So looking then at the league table, starting off there at the top, Everton played today against Southampton. Of course, this video should be hopefully going out by around the 2 o'clock mark, so this is before the Sunday game. So Everton have a game in hand, and Liverpool are now level on points with their Merseyside rivals after their win over Sheffield United. Aston Villa, they still have a game in hand. They could still go top if Everton lose to Southampton and Aston Villa win their game in hand. But of course, Aston Villa losing 3-0 to Leeds United on the Friday. Crystal Palace's win takes them to 5th, with Chelsea behind them by a point. Leicester, Arsenal, Wolves and Tottenham all have games in hand. And moving into the bottom half of the table, West Ham United start off in 11th place in goal difference above Manchester City, who've started with 2 draws and also 2 wins and a loss, which is not a good start for Manchester City. Southampton in 13th with a game in hand, as does Newcastle. Brighton and West Brom have games in hand. Burnley have 2 games in hand. Manchester United not making the best of starts either, with 2 wins, a draw and 2 losses in 15th place. Burnley having 2 games in hand but only a point on the board, and now with Sheffield United with a 2-1 defeat and Fulham with a 2-1 defeat, but both have at least got a point on the board. So there we go, that is look at the Premier League results and the table. We'll talk about the Championship, League 1 and League 2 very, very soon. But speaking a little bit about the game, so first of all, West Ham against Manchester City, I definitely thought that Manchester City just weren't at the races. And you know what, the Match of the Day commentary kind of summed it up for me. It felt like a Manchester City tribute band. It felt like they look like them, they sound like them, they walk like them, but they're not exactly them. It doesn't feel like something's right at the minute with Manchester City. Could it be that defence? Could it be the way they're setting up? Could it be the weird tactical changes? Now, nobody with a brain cell is saying Pep Guardiola needs to go. Absolutely no chance, because I know Man City is going to bounce back from this. But Pep Guardiola needs to get his squad together. Absolutely needs to get his squad together, because if they're not careful, they could go for a really rough patch, and that could really damage their season. And I hope that doesn't happen for Pep Guardiola, because I think they deserve better than that. Liverpool getting the win over Sheffield United. They're bouncing back after that 7-2 defeat to Aston Villa. Can't believe I didn't report on that. But, you know, that was a legendary fixture for Aston Villa. And, you know, it showed the best of what they could do. And, you know, of course, Aston Villa themselves losing 3-0 to Leeds United on the Friday. They were going to go for 5 wins out of 5. You know, that would have been the best start in club history to a Premier League season. But it's still been a fantastic start. It's just a blip at the minute. I think Aston Villa will bounce back from this. But Liverpool beating Sheffield United, you know, it's good for Liverpool because they're getting closer and closer to the Merseyside rivals. But I do think Everton will beat Southampton today. But for Sheffield United, I'm struggling to see what's going to happen with them, because Sheffield United have been playing fantastic football, but just not getting the results. But I hope they do get the results from this, because I think Burnley and Sheffield United are two teams that I did not expect to see in the relegation zone, especially this early on in the season. I expected them to at least be mid-table. So it's a big surprise for me personally, but it should be interesting to see how the rest of their season develops. Fulham, I wasn't surprised to see them in the relegation zone, to be honest. I knew they were going to be the biggest strugglers this season. And, you know, it's very interesting to see how this is going to develop and how Fulham's going to change their stance going into the season. You know, is Scott Parker going to be the first manager to go in the Premier League this season? We'll just have to wait and see. Manchester United against Chelsea, they played some good football, Man United, but they just didn't get the scoring chances. And one big factor of that, I think, is the poor performance of Dan James. I think Dan James, again, it's not having the football intelligence. I felt like the Juan Mata and Bruno Fernandes link-ups, again, were very, very good. And if they can play two cams, if they can, I think what they could do is play a 4-2-2-2. So when Martial comes back, have Martial and Rashford up front with Cavani as an option, and you'd have Mata and Bruno at the cam, and in not CDM, not centre defensive midfield, but just a centre midfield, a holding centre midfield, you have Van der Beek and you have Pogba, and then you have Bruno and Mata, and then you've got the likes of McTominay, Fred, Matic, Dan James, Lingard as backups. And I would play a 4-2-2-2. I would not play 5 at the back. Man United played 4 at the back. Chelsea played 5 at the back. And to be perfectly honest, I think Man U had some good chances in that game. And I think the only person that's kept Chelsea a point is the goalkeeper, Eduard Mendy. And they finally got a goalkeeper worth keeping. Kepa Arrizabalaga, not good enough. Caballero, he's getting on a bit, so there needs to be a younger version of him, or a better version than him, as a first choice goalkeeper, because I thought it was embarrassing having Petr Cech on a non-contract basis as backup goalkeeper in the Champions League against Sevilla. That was embarrassing for Chelsea. And, I think, we can't really judge Frank Lampard a lot this season because, a lot of these players, the Ziyech, Havertz, Werner, Chilwell, Sarr, Silva, Mendy. These are a lot of new signs. It's going to take a while for them to gel. And I did predict that Chelsea would win the league, but I'm sort of going back on that promise now. I think most of us are with the way Everton started, but I do think that Chelsea are going to need time to gel their players. They're going to start forming relationships. They're going to start forming this one true Chelsea family, and it's going to take about a year for them to settle in my opinion. So I think we'll properly judge Lampard in a year. If they can get top 4 with this team that's just been formed with all these new players, fair enough, that's a decent season for Chelsea. Then they need to start challenging for the title next season and the season after. Then we can start judging Lampard on whether he's good enough or not. So, it's going to be interesting. By the way, Harry Maguire getting involved in an RKO out of nowhere, a stone cold stunner. I think that should have been a penalty for Chelsea. Harry Maguire got away with that one. And, I don't agree with Maguire being selected at all. I think that he came back too soon from the injury. And, I think the rule is, anytime he's fit, just get him out there. It doesn't care whether it's 100% or 5% fit, get him out there. And that shouldn't be the formula, in my opinion. I think Tuanzebe, I know Chelsea's a big game, but I do think Tuanzebe did enough to start in that game, and some people might disagree with that, but I think Tuanzebe should have started with Lindelof. I think Tuanzebe should have been in that starting lineup instead of Maguire, but, I think Maguire's just getting overplayed too much. I think that the £80 million price tag was just, I still think it's an embarrassment. I thought it was embarrassing when it actually happened 2 years ago. I think they really overpaid for Harry Maguire, and he's not proving himself. It's like Lukaku, it's like Sanchez. He's not proving himself in United shirt. And you know what? I think Smalling was probably the best centre back at the club, and look where he's gone now. So Man United do need to bounce back from this. They have Leipzig in the Champions League, then they've got Arsenal next weekend, so that's going to be a big test for Man U. And then after Arsenal in the Premier League, they've got Everton. That's 2 massive games because you got Arsenal, who's performing under Mikel Arteta. They're trying to get results. They've got Thomas Partey, who's a strong link, so that's going to be tough to break down. Then you've got an Everton side who are just free scoring, free-wheeling, Carlo Ancelotti football. That's 2 big games in a row in the Premier League with Leipzig in between. So it's going to be tough for Man United, but we'll see how they come out of it. So there we go. That's the Premier League, and a little bit about Champions League as well, because of course, man, you've got Leipzig. Of course, there's some Europa League games I think next week as well, so that should be interesting. And it should be interesting to see what happens with it. I will do a full summary of the Champions League group stages once they've all finished before the knockout stage, and I'll start covering knockout games and reviewing knockout games. So I'll do a full group table summary and share my thoughts on the group table and sort of predict who's going to go through the knockout stages in that video. But for now, let's get into the Championship and discuss the table and the results from Saturday. Watford 1, AFC Bournemouth 1. Bristol City 1, Swansea City 1. Cardiff City 1, Middlesbrough 1. Coventry City 0, Blackburn Rovers 4. Huddersfield Town 1, Preston North End 2. Millwall 1, Barnsley 1. Norwich City 2, Wycombe Wanderers 1. QPR 0, Birmingham City 0. Reading 3, Rotherham United 0. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Luton Town 1. And Stoke City 3, Brentford 2. So looking then at the Championship table, you can see Reading up there at the top, 5 points clear of second place Bristol City, who are now on goal difference ahead of Watford by 1 goal difference. Watford and Bournemouth are separated by a point. Norwich away from Bournemouth with a -2 goal difference between them and Bournemouth. Swansea make up the rest of the playoff places on goal difference with Millwall. In fact, technically, Millwall could be up in alphabetical order. You never know. Stoke City and Luton are there in mid-table as well. And you look at all the other clubs in there, it's very, very close between the playoff places, and we're even going down to 14th here where we find Huddersfield. So a lot of clubs in there still fighting. Cardiff, they're in mid-table, in the lower half of mid-table. Rotherham United still needing to fight. Nottingham Forest trying to get back into it. Barnsley still awaiting a victory. Wycombe Wanderers still awaiting a point. And Sheffield Wednesday not doing much to get rid of that -4 points deduction. So there we go. That is the Championship table after Saturday. Now some big results there. Blackburn Rovers getting 4 goals past Coventry. That was a big result for them. Blackburn Rovers are a team that I think we should watch out for, and especially going into the final furlong of the season, I think that Blackburn are going to start getting some consistency together, and Blackburn could really, challenge for promotion this season. Bristol City dropping more points again. I mean, that's not going to be good for their playoff campaign or promotion campaign. But Reading flying high. I mean, the new manager bounce has really worked for Reading. And Bournemouth, again, I think a side that I think are going to be challenging for automatics. Norwich, another side. One side I do feel sorry for, though, is definitely Wycombe Wanderers. I think that Wycombe not having a point yet. I think they've scored the goals now, but they just need to find the points from somewhere. Maybe they'll take points from a few different opponents, but I think we could be seeing Wycombe be the worst side in second-tier history, unfortunately. And I don't want to write them off this early, but it's not looking likely unless they can find something from somewhere. Another side that I'm quite surprised about is Derby. I don't think it'll be too long now before they sack Philip Cocu. Of course, it was on the Friday, I believe, they got a 1-1 draw with Nottingham Forest. So, I think it was Joswiak denied by a late equaliser by Forest. So, Derby County do need to get more points. Nottingham Forest getting a good point there under their new boss, Chris Hughton, against a relegation contender at the minute. So I think Derby need to maybe follow suit in the direction of Forest and get that manager out of the door. Still reports and rumours of Wayne Rooney could be taking charge if Cocu does go. But we'll have to see with that one. I'd like to see Wayne Rooney as a manager. Not going to lie, I think Wayne Rooney would be a fantastic Man United manager if he doesn't want to, work under that board. But, I think for now to gain experience, and, you've got to look at it. Lampard gained experience from Derby, became Chelsea boss. Rooney gained experience as Derby manager. Maybe could go into the Man United or Everton job if Ancelotti fails next season. Or if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gets sacked this season, maybe they go and follow with Wayne Rooney next season. Who knows? But, it'd be nice to see Rooney manage. But for now, at least, I think Philip Cocu needs to focus on getting the points necessary to keep him in a job. I don't think Wycombe's going to sack Gareth Ainsworth. I think they're going to be alright. And Sheffield Wednesday, still -4 on that point deduction. With the help of a point deduction. And Gary Monk needs to start getting more points because I think they're going to look adrift if they're not careful. So Sheffield Wednesday could start to follow in the pattern of being in trouble. Do they sack Gary Monk? I mean, do the point deduction help? Not really. So it should be interesting to see what they do with that. But overall, not a bad match day. Not a bad match day at all. So let's have a look at League 1. Gillingham 0, Fleetwood Town 2. Accrington Stanley Bristol Rovers was postponed. Blackpool 1, MK Dons 0. Burton Albion 1, AFC Wimbledon 1. Doncaster Rovers 1, Crewe Alexandra 2. Hull City 1, Peterborough United 2. Lincoln City 1, Ipswich Town 0. Northampton Town 0, Charlton Athletic 2. Oxford United and Swindon Town match postponed. Shrewsbury Town 1, Rochdale 2. Sunderland 1, Portsmouth 3. And Wigan Athletic 1, Plymouth Argyle 1. So looking then at the table, and Lincoln top by a point. Peterborough and Hull joint on second and third on 18 points. Ipswich, Portsmouth and Sunderland make up the rest of the playoff places. Doncaster still with a game in hand, losing, which means they're outside of the playoffs. Charlton now on the same points and still have a game in hand as well. Sunderland losing their first game of the season, even though they were still in the playoffs, which is a very nice surprise. Accrington and Bristol, of course, have a game in hand now with their match postponed. Swindon's match postponed as well. Oxford still have 2 games in hand. They're in the relegation zone. MK Dons and Burton starting to look a bit adrift this early on in the season. Wimbledon and Blackpool, and especially Wigan, need to find the points from somewhere. So there we go, big results from League 1 there. Obviously Doncaster, the game, you know my thoughts on that. I thought the refereeing body's a turd and we just didn't take our chances. So big 2-1 loss there, but we go again. You know, Sunderland losing, that was a big one for me, especially with Portsmouth's form. You know, they lost against us 1-0 and then, you know, they need to regain the form from somewhere. And, you know, I think Portsmouth definitely... you know, are they on the up again? Are they going to get better and better? I mean, we'll have to see with that one. But Sunderland's first loss, playing what we call the Parky football, the Parkinson football. So we're going to have to watch out for that. Lincoln City beating Ipswich, that was a big game for Lincoln. Of course, they're top of the league. Lincoln are flying at the minute. I think that one of the big things with Lincoln for me is that the Cowley brothers did such an amazing job and then got pried away to the championship, and they didn't do too much of a good job at Huddersfield. Now Danny Cowley, I think he's still a great manager and he does need the club to back it up. But, you know, Lincoln under Appleton, it took a while, but they're starting to find their feet now. And, you know, getting that penalty and scoring it, and then, you know, Lincoln getting that 1-0 win. Ipswich going down to 10 men at the end as well. Ipswich, I think Doncaster's win against Ipswich last weekend kind of sent them on a bit of a downward spiral now, so maybe Ipswich are going to start going down that pattern. But for Ipswich fans' sakes, it's up to Paul Lambert to not go down that pattern again and to actually fight this time. So it's down to them really. And Wigan, you know, down there, you know, getting an interesting result with Plymouth. So you know, Plymouth are facing Doncaster on Tuesday, so it's going to be a tough one there. And, you know, Wigan do need to find the points from somewhere, especially with the Spanish bid from the administrators. Has that gone in yet? Have we confirmed brand new owners? I know the bid's been accepted, but have we actually confirmed the new ownership yet? Or we haven't really heard anything from that, so it should be interesting. But overall, not too bad for a day in League 1. Finally, let's have a look at League 2. Barrow 2, Walsall 2. Bradford City 0, Newport County 3. Cambridge United 1, Bolton Wanderers 1. Cheltenham Town 0, Mansfield Town 0. Colchester United 2, Harrogate Town 1. Grimsby Town 1, Carlisle United 1. Morecambe 1, Forest Green Rovers 2. Oldham Athletic 1, Port Vale 2. Salford City 1, Crawley Town 1. Stevenage 0, Leyton Orient 2. And Tranmere Rovers 2, Southend United 0. So looking then at the table, Newport top by 2 points ahead of Cambridge, and they're a point in front of third place Cheltenham. Forest Green and Exeter City top the playoff places with Harrogate and Carlisle just inside. Salford just outside the playoff places, as are Colchester, Port Vale, Walsall, and of course Morecambe slipping down the table a bit more now. Leyton Orient's win takes them up into the higher mid-tables. Tranmere Rovers beating Southend, who remain bottom on 2 points after 8 games. Is the manager's time to go? Scunthorpe United enter the relegation zone by a point, but the likes of Barrow, Stevenage, Mansfield and Oldham are still just outside. Bolton escaping the danger, but only just. Big results from League 2 there. The big one being Morecambe losing to Forest Green Rovers 2-1. Not a big one in terms of the stature of clubs, but that was another result that makes me think Morecambe are slipping further down the league. I mean, they're just slipping down the league. They're sliding down like a fireman down a ladder in a blaze. It's a downward spiral at the minute for Morecambe, and hopefully for their sake they can bounce back from this, because, Morecambe made an incredible start to the season. Two teams, though, who have made incredible starts to the season. Cambridge United, now in second place, and Newport County. I told you, it's not just Swansea, it's not just Cardiff. There's another Welsh team you need to watch out for, and that, my friends, is Newport County. And, will they play League One football next season? We'll have to see, because Newport County, they have been playoff contenders for the last couple of years now, and I think that, they're really starting to find their feet in League 2 and trying to bounce into League 1. So, Newport County definitely could be a side to watch. Two sides, though, that I've been pleasantly surprised about for the wrong reasons. Southend United and Scunthorpe United. Wow, how times change. Back in 2009, I think Southend were fighting, they just fought in the playoff place in League 1 in the 07-08 season. And Scunthorpe United were actually in the Championship in the 2008-2009 season, automatically up. And now look at them, over 10 years later, they are both at the bottom of League 2. How far have they fallen? Scunthorpe United were under Nigel Atkins nearly over 10 years ago. And Southend United were, they got that 0-0 draw against us, believe it or not, in the 2008 League 1 playoff semi-finals. Then we beat them in the second leg 5-1. So, it was a fall from grace, and Southend United and Scunthorpe need to bounce back. Harrogate Town, another pleasant surprise, this time for the right reasons. They're in the playoff places, and you know what? The one thing that Harrogate needs is a bigger capacity stadium, because I think Harrogate are someone to watch. I think Harrogate are someone to watch for the future, not just the present, because I think they've got the squad capable of building on that, using funds to build and add to their squad and make them serious contenders in the third tier and maybe even the second tier. Harrogate's football could be getting a lot more exciting sooner rather than later. And Tranmere Rovers getting the good win over Southend pushes them further up the mid-table. Salford, just outside the playoff places, now under the interim charge of the Man United legend Paul Scholes, after Crewe Alexandra's sacking just a couple of weeks ago. And Salford really trying to find their feet now, but with a 1-1 draw, they need to improve on that. So, big results there in League 2. So that is looking at all the tables and results. Now we need to share with you Moore's press reaction. But before we do that, I want to share with you some comments that Moore made about the injury. So Taylor, it's a short knock, but he did say we're going to analyse it over the next 24 hours. So not much information else around that. Obviously Richards had a slight knock as well. And they didn't want to play him. They wanted to be cautious about it. So we'll see what happens with that and how long he could be out for. Whether it is just a slight knock and it's just a little rest just to be cautious. Tulloch and John Jules are still training with their parent club, so they're still getting back to full fitness, which is very good news indeed. And let's share Darren Moore's reaction now to the match. So the statement headline from Darren Moore is, "I won't accept that it's the league." Now Darren Moore will never accept that strange results will happen during this unprecedented season for Rovers. Now, Moore was asked if anything could be read into the fact that the side has beaten two of League One's leading sides but dropped points against Leicester opposition. He responded by saying that he is not concerned by the status of the opposing teams nor the circumstances surrounding the game. He said, "I'll look into it and maybe it might suggest that's the league, but I won't accept it," he said. I won't accept that it's the league. I just have to make sure that we're doing everything professionally in order to get a result. Yes, the fixture list is going to come. Yes, that type of game is going to come when you're playing game number 3 in a week. We know that game number 3 throws up different results. We know that. But I won't just accept that's the league. I will make sure that we are covering all bases in terms of getting a result, which is what we always do. This is exactly what I'll be looking at after this game. Now, Moores felt his side deserved to take something from Saturday's game, having created opportunities to draw level. He said, "I just remember their goalkeeper pulling off a heroic save from Joe Wright's header, and I thought, goodness me. I remember one coming across to the face of goal for Fedge, of course for Jerry Okanabiri, to just get the final touch, and I saw another chance with Fedge just over the bar. When I look at it, I don't get too concerned or worried because I count 3 or 4 chances where we're 2-1 down and just needing that final touch and ruthlessness. As a manager, I really stay in the game because after, when I speak to the players, I want to know exactly what goes on with it. I'm always getting pulled back by the 4th official for encroaching on the pitch, and it's only because I'm inside the game and wanting to feel what the players are feeling. It was heroic defending by them and the final touch by us. So, we move on." Fair play to Darren Moore for making that statement. Fair play to the guy because I completely agree with that. I did, and to be fair, I still stick by my reaction. 50% of that was the referee screwing us over with bad decisions, and 50% of that, the other 50% was, we need to be more ruthless. We need to have the final touch. They have better defensive work done, and we just need to be better. So, we do move on. We do face Plymouth on Tuesday. We do have a preview coming tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. And we'll have a preview then on Friday as well for the game against Lincoln on Saturday. So that's going to be 2 very exciting games to review. So thank you very much, guys, for watching this video, the DRFC Daily Reports. Don't forget, like I said, we are going to cover more sports on this channel because I want to cover a lot of different sports, bring in a lot of audiences from around the world, and just share my passion for sports in general, not just football. I've got a lot of other passions. The NFL, I love watching that from time to time. I love watching that and keeping up to date with it. The NBA, of course, I'm a massive basketball fan. You guys know that by now, by earlier content. So we've got episode 1 of NBA Off the Rim coming this afternoon or this evening, so stay tuned for that. Rugby League and Rugby Union, that's something I've always wanted to cover. So, they're 2 sports I've always wanted to cover. So, I might look into them. The NHL, the Ice Hockey League, I've always wanted to cover that as well, so we'll have a look at that. There's other sports like the Olympics, of course. The Olympics is something I've always wanted to cover, so hopefully that'll come next year. So hopefully we'll get some coverage done for that. And just some other sports. If you've got any other sports, cricket, tennis, anything, just comment down below. And I want to cover more sports on this channel because I want to get this channel a load more audiences from a lot of different sports and get you guys, on the sports chat, shall we say. And for now, guys, thank you very, very much for watching this video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. And for now, I am the CHALL. Thank you very much, and good night.